We're live.
He's alive.
Is it recording? All right, we're just doing some tests, guys. Making sure we're all good.
It's got a computer game feel. I feel like we're doing like Sonic the Hedgehog or something.
Is Timmy gonna have to come over?
I might go and go so far though.
We good, Jake? Oh, yeah, that's way better. Yeah, Timmy had space on the other side. Guys, we have Jake's hairline joined in on the game.
That'd be Joshua Camplin. Welcome.
Welcome, Joshua Camplin. We also have someone else. Capewell's a gagger.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Glory, glory to Kurt Capewell.
Sorry?
Glory, glory to Kurt Capewell.
Is that your one?
Oh.
Yo.
No.
Is that your one? Yours?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better? All right, we have 6 people. We have rank 120. Geez, not to brag or anything. We have Brandon No Hand. I like that name. So we currently have 3. You want yours down?
I'm not coming. I can't hear you. I want it up. Please.
Yo.
Down. I'll turn.
And Jake, that you must be.
That's good.
Is that good, Jake?
Yes.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yep.
All right. Yo.
If you only had one shot.
All right. So we have 7 people in.
Come on, Joy.
Come on, join.
Go to Kahoot.I. I think it's IT. 633-9509 for our quiz. Savs did the quiz this week.
Yeah. So if
So
you win
there's
this
some
one,
Odd questions in there.
there is odd questions. Very weirdly worded as well. Hazard has joined. Thank you, Hazard. You know what we've done today? We're competing with the Daily Telegraph right now, but by putting it back an hour, which is not good. We don't want to do that.
No, but we've done it anyway.
We've done it anyway.
Baggins, I know him from before.
I reckon we'll get to a point where we just go.
Yeah, I reckon another 5-ish.
10 past 5, we're kicking off.
'Cause we have said that we're going to go live at 10 past. So.
Yeah. 10 past 5, we'll kick off the game unless filled beforehand. Timmy, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, man. Yep.
Jake, how are you?
Well, after Sunday's game with the Sharks, not great. Although it was a good game.
I did want to hear your life story, mate.
Well,
I had
Simple,
to
yeah,
put a
man.
bit of context because I would have said terrible and you would have gone, oh, why? So put a bit of context.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have been like,
No questions.
I already had that in my mind that I was going to say that, regardless of what you said.
There
You
go.
could have said,
I jumped it early.
yeah, could have said anything.
So you're playing on the play, not playing eyes up, SuperCoach.
Yeah, that's true. That's where you get unstuck. 11 players. It's pretty good. People are sticking in there as well. We've shared all the stuff into the group. And guys, in 2 weeks, potentially 3, in 2 weeks, where we're going to YouTube only because I don't know if the studio has the capabilities to go to Facebook as well. So,
We'd be able to share it on Facebook after.
yeah. No, we
No,
could
you
share it
just share
during.
it
We could share it during.
Sure.
But YouTube's a better platform anyway because you can Chromecast to your TV. You can do all that. We have 13 people.
Geez, do people really want to see us on the TV, but?
I find it a better viewing experience if it's on the TV. Like if it's just on your phone, it doesn't feel as good. But when we're in that setting, it's going to make it feel like it needs to be on the TV, right?
Yeah, you could even hire out like a drive-in cinema or something. And you could check it out there.
Oh, geez, it's getting hot in here already, eh?
Take it bird, get frisky. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is snowflakes in?
No.
No snowflakes.
He doesn't watch the show.
Nah.
He doesn't watch the show. He just hits the socials.
Yeah,
He does.
He just wants to. He's your biggest fan. He wants to.
No,
follow
he
you.
probably watches through another account and
I've
then he
got a feeling-
comments on
I had a thought. I've got a feeling I know who snowflakes is actually.
Chris Moody.
Oh, nah, I think I won't say. I won't say. But I think I know what it is.
Snowflakes.
Oh, you wouldn't know him.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, because he bags you a lot. So
Yeah. It just sort of all started to click. It
Makes me
started-
think that they know you.
Yeah.
like he's just doing it to G up, not to
Yeah.
actually taunt you.
Yeah.
All right, 2 minutes, guys. Join in. 13 is probably the max. I'm glad I didn't pay for the extra premium version. I was thinking about it. I was like, 50 people. If we got 50 people, that'd be a nice game.
So who we got in the game? Shout them out.
Oh, actually, I might join this one so I can see the tally live.
Okay. Yes. You should join, Tim, because you don't know the questions.
Oh, I don't know how to join a Kahoot. That's really out of my technical
No,
abilities.
it's just to search on your Google
On my Google. Okay.
or Safari, whatever phone you have.
What do I? Kahoot? K-A.
Yeah, Kahoot.
Or just scan the QR code.
Yeah, or scan that.
Can you set us up?
Well, you can choose your nickname.
That's 15.
Fuck, I can tell there's a few of my mates in here,
Jake's hairline.
and Jake has a something.
Jake has a mangina. Brendan has a mangina. Are you in? There you go. 16. All right, 5-10. Let's go.
Yep, let's go.
Trying to get some clout while we're at
Let's
it.
go. TLT round 6.
by Savs.
Who is the highest scoring halfback?
I did photos on it. So it's Cherry Evans, Nathan Cleary,
Oh,
SJ,
what the fuck?
or Nico Hines.
Oh my god.
So you have to read the.
Oh,
what's
do you
on the
mean
screen.
high scoring average or?
No, total.
Fuck.
How are people answering this? Because I honestly can't. Or are they waiting for the
You have to see it on the screen.
right?
So that's why people last week were a bit confused. They couldn't do the questions. The questions don't come up on your phone. You have to be watching us.
Yeah,
in
that's
some way.
that's so dumb. I didn't realize that.
I'm just giving everyone a head start by getting that one wrong.
And Jake's hairline's first.
Jake's hairline is first. Good stuff. Jake's hairline.
And this one's a puzzle. This is a new question type from Savs.
Next puzzle. Rank from the highest scoring player to the lowest scoring overall.
So red is Harry Grant, blue is Payne Haas, Jacob Carraz is yellow, and Lockie Miller is green. So you have to order them from highest scoring total to the lowest scoring total. And Savs, like the prickies, you click and drag it. Like you drag it to where it is to make sure you got the colours right.
Shit.
Savs in the pricky years, he did the top 4 scorers in the whole thing.
Yeah.
He didn't make it easy.
No, this like if people are going to answer, just probably press submit.
Do you find it how you went, or just wrong or right?
No,
You'll find out.
You'll find out at the end if you got it right.
This is great radio.
No, but does it tell you got like 3 of them right, or does it just tell you?
Well, this is actually a new question because Savs got
Yeah,
the
do it at
top
TAFE.
package.
3, 2, 1.
Fuck, 8 people actually got it right. I guess there was enough time to probably search your
Yeah.
SuperCoach for that one.
That's true.
Cheaters.
Fuck, I got it wrong and I wrote the question.
You wrote the question. Oh, Savs, that's poor. Jake's hairline is still first.
Sav Salmon Dog is out the window.
Yeah, and he wrote the questions and he still can't get them right. Terrible.
I'm confused by the colors. Who is the highest scoring player owned by less than 2% of coaches? So one of these players is very high scoring.
Low ownership. So Jesse Ramian is in red. Blue,
I'll just-
Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
actually, I'll give you
yellow,
a-
Campbell Graham.
I'll give
green,
you a
Will
hint.
Kennedy.
Only one of these players is below 2%.
Oh, you've really made it if you're good for the people. I told you prick of a pick.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely got it wrong then.
Lockie Fitz.
All got it right.
Yeah, this is. Let's
Anyone none from
Yes,
three
Jake's
about it?
hairline's out.
Let's bring it back to Jake writing the questions.
Hey, people, they're still getting it right.
Whose birthday is today? So Greg Marju, Nafahu White, Sua Wong, or Viliami Kikau? It is a multiple
I know who it's not.
No, it's a multiple choice question.
There
so
could be more than one person with birthday today.
Oh,
But you only have to pick one. All but Viliami Kikau.
all but Viliami Kikau.
So if you picked anyone except...
I knew it wasn't
Okay,
William
you got it.
Kikau's birthday.
Yeah, his birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
I thought it was a different. Actually, yeah.
See, Sav, see?
That was a good one.
It was a good question. And I...
Going to his birthday party.
So if you are watching, we'll do birthdays every week.
Okay. So there you go,
So-
everyone. Make sure you know on the Tuesday whose birthday it is. In
Get around their birthdays. Today was a good one though. No one scored over 150 in round 5. True or false?
Oh.
No one scored over 150 this round. True or false?
Oh, I think I got it right, actually. Yeah.
What'd you say?
False.
It's true.
It's true. No one did.
Dom Young was the highest. He was above 150 before
He went down
updates.
147.
Then he went down.
It's a double negative, like no one and then false.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
Savs. It's Savs
I
making
got
questions.
confused. Yeah.
Yes, right. Rank 120. Not only is he high ranked, he's going well in this.
Who is the most traded in player this week? This should be easy because everyone's probably
Yeah.
getting him in.
Everyone should get this one. Zach Hoskin, Greg Marju, Nathan Cleary, or Sean Johnson.
I like the photo you put. The Kahoot music is such banger. Especially the waiting room music.
Zach
Oh.
Hosking, all but one.
Someone went
Greg
Greg
Marju.
Marju.
Close.
People might want him.
I'm not most traded in.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Oh,
Sav's,
rank 1-2's got it wrong.
Sav Salmon Dog is in at second. I better get this one wrong.
Yeah, you got to answer slowly because there are a couple of seconds.
No, I'll just
behind
answer
us.
wrong.
True
True
or
or false? Latrell is a buy this week.
According to Savs, by the way, guys.
Well, yeah. I guess if you've got Teddy.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jake.
if you bought in a certain fullback last week,
Not saying any names. To be fair,
that's a subjective
that's
question there.
subjective. So the winner is.
No, still one more question, mate.
Sydney.
Or is there one more?
There's one more question, and Jake's hairline goes straight back to first.
Sav Salmon Dog third.
Last question: who's the most traded out? Should be an easy one.
Hammer, Alamotti, Hopgood, Teddy.
Now this was
Oh,
pre-TLT.
yeah, this is pre-TLT.
because this might have changed.
This will change.
A little
This is
hint.
going to change.
little hint.
100%.
Oh, I feel like it could be either Ilamotti or Teddy. Eh?
Oh, fuck. I answered correctly. Why'd I do that?
Boy, only a couple got it right. And the leaderboard podium, third position,
Third.
rank 120. In second, Jake's hairline
Oh,
has
no.
won, and Sam has actually won it.
Oh, no.
That's so dog writes the questions and puts himself on the podium. What a dog.
All right,
Jake's
Jake's hairline
hairline
wins. I also know who that is, so he'll be in the grand final
It'll be
show whenever we
the
do
grand
that
final Kahoot. All right. Do you want to exit out of that, Jake?
one. I'd love to.
On the Chrome.
Boom. Leave.
Leave. And then.
There we go.
Okay. Go to brand.
So I don't know why you don't control this, buddy.
Yeah, I probably should. Brand. Scroll down.
Mate, there's no scroll on an Apple thing. This bloke.
Secret.
All right. Hey, Jake, just leave it because we're about to start. Tom Trbojevic!
Get ready for a Tommy Turbo Masterclass. Tameless Tuesday is here. And the boys are hard as a rock. Don't be a weak-gutted dog. Leave that for Jamin Salmon. Get ready for the best SuperCoach show on the planet. It's so good, it's better than Lego. You're now listening to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. Here's your host, Brandon Savage.
Guys, welcome to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Jamin Salmons. We had the Jamin Salmon Cup on Friday night, and geez, it was good. They put a 50 bomb on the milk. I'm here joined at the Hills Podcast Studio in Bella Vista with my trusty co-host. I've got Tim, the coach of Viliami. How are you, Timmy?
Excellent. Very good. Thank you for asking.
Very good. And I've also got the coach of Kiss My Behinds. How are you, Jake?
Yeah, good, mate. Well, my team's probably going as good as the Sharks did on the weekend, but we'll get to that, I guess.
So you were actually flying. You're flying at the start of the season. You got in Nico Hines at the right time.
Wasn't flying as well as most of the people on this podcast, but the last week was a bounce back week for me.
What's gone wrong?
Don't know.
Yeah, what do you put it down to? Is there like somewhere you go, that's my weakness, that's where I'm losing
Yeah,
out,
I think
or?
no Harry Grant.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
getting
yeah.
paid pass as well. So I've got a lot of plotters in my team.
The thing is, Harry can't get that. I bought him in the second week. I had Brandon Smith and went straight to Harry Grant. And I was just like, I don't know why I just didn't start with him, because like he is that guy that will put 30 to sometimes 40 on others. And in 5 weeks, that's 200 points. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what the issue is. Getting it, like passing on Harry Grant, I get your mindset, but at the same time, like you don't think that 20 to 30 points is going to hurt by the next hooker down, but it hurts so much just
you think
knowing.
you can make it up elsewhere with the money like you're spending elsewhere, but sometimes it doesn't always work.
But
like
you don't, because just because he's the best in that position, like you can't match it anywhere else. You can't catch up anywhere else. But like not starting with Haas as well, that is a tricky one. Do you have Haas, Timmy?
No, I don't have Haas. I've got Big Tino. I'm all about the mullet, bro. Payne Haas has got the tiniest rat's tail in the game. I don't even know why he's wearing one. Like, grow a ratty, Payne.
100%. Guys, so what'd you score, Jake?
Was it 1277, I think?
Yep.
Just under, I guess, a 1300 of par. So,
And you, Timmy?
Yeah, 13...
33 or something.
Okay, yeah, you probably know better than I do.
Yep.
And yeah, so I've moved up into 1326, moved up into 2,811.
Yeah, nice. I scored 1284 myself. I think, I had a pretty down week as well. I think having Tedesco really hurt. And it's funny because I give you shit about not owning Tedesco. You can give me shit now about owning Tedesco. And today we're gonna dissect what the best options are. And like, to be fair, relevant people don't have Tedesco anyway. So
some might.
Some might, but
did you just call yourself irrelevant, Savs?
No, I said irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, I said relevant people don't have Tedesco.
Which makes you
irrelevant.
Okay.
It's a double negative. Guys, Picklebet on the weekend. We had a massive weekend. We had a lot of sign-ups. So cheers for tuning in and supporting this. Thursday and Friday, Picklebet have a promo on Thursday and Friday night. For Thursday and Friday night of the NRL and AFL games, if you log into Picklebet and bet on the first try scorer or goal scorer on selected games, you get paid out if they score second or third in bonus bets. That's a pretty good promo. The other bookies do things similar, but I think this is good for this week. We've got some stats here. Drew Hutchison against Melbourne, a right centre, has scored in every game against Melbourne.
He scored the other week. I don't see him doing it again.
No, he scored last week, but a right centre has scored every game against Melbourne. So Justin Olam has been touted as like a real defensive, like hits hard, but
he shoots in.
He's shooting in. So I think Jackson Paulo and Drew Hutchison, if you put a bit on that's fine. And on the Friday night games for the Rabbitohs versus the Dogs, Lachlan Ilias against the Dogs. The markets aren't up quite yet, but I'll make sure to post them when they come. 4 out of the 5 games against the Dogs, halfback has scored against the Dogs. Last week,
I like that one.
Last week, who was it? Tom Dearden scored against the Dogs. He's the 5'8". So if you want to hedge your bets and go the other side of Cody Walker, I wasn't as confident going Cody Walker just because they're a bit more easy on that side. And Cody Walker has scored the last 2 weeks. So I really like Lachlan Ilias, and especially we know that'll be value. But just make sure, do you know what you're gambling with? Make sure it's not to gamble too much, not to gamble what you can't afford. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au using the code TURBO when you sign up to Picklebet. I should have put that first. But guys, on to the winners and losers of team lists. Winners, Joey Manu, named at fullback, 801,000. I know this is probably not a regulation winner, but I think we need to talk about it. Joey Manu at fullback always kills it. What's your thoughts, Jake?
I mean, we saw what he did last year at fullback. The problem is it's probably only a 1 week thing. I guess over Origin he's going to be playing more fullback, but a 1 week play, I guess next week he probably goes back to the centres.
Big dollars.
And it's big money to spend. It's $800K. I'd rather be spending that on someone like Garrick.
It is big dollars because we've missed out on him for a good little chunk at the start of the season. He's probably not going to lose as much leading into the first bye, Timmy. He's going to be a buy at some point because during the Origin period, he just fills in at fullback 5'8". Whenever there's an injury, whenever Tedesco is out resting on Origin, there's going to be a point where we got to buy him. We're going to have to think about it. Maybe this week isn't the week versing the Storm, but man, it'd be a pod play.
Yeah, it'd be a pod play, but I just think it's not the go. It just, that sort of money you're spending, everyone's trying to either get money for Hines. There's a lot of people who don't have Hines who said, I'm going to wait. There's people like myself who can't afford Garrick, and I'm trying to, earn that money to sort of get to him. So for a 1 week play and then going to the centers, I know he goes okay wherever he plays, but yeah, just on the return game, not for me.
Jacob Preston is named to start at 476,000 with a -3 break even, 108 last week. Absolute beast. But there is a bit of an injury issue. He got the webbing of his hands.
I think it's just more a pain injury.
There's no break there, is there?
No, it's just a split webbing. So it's like the webbing in between your fingers cut. That's why so much blood. So he was right to go. I think Max King's probably the one that's in more doubt. Gus came out today and he said that both are in some doubt. Max King more likely because, he's got a massive shine on his eye. He can barely open the thing. So that's obviously going to be a problem where webbing, you just tape it up and he should be fine to go. I mean, hopefully he goes all right because...
Well, he killed it in the second half, man. So, that was with the webbing. So, he'll be all right.
Did anyone see that someone called Max King Mad-Eye Moody? Pretty funny.
No.
No?
You
didn't see it?
I don't get it. Is it?
I think it was a whisperer, so you probably ignored it, eh? Scott Drinkwater and Val Holmes. With Scott Drinkwater back, Val Holmes was back last week. That's just a win for the Cowboys side in general. They play the Dolphins this week, and I wouldn't be having a dabble at Scott Drinkwater, but Val Holmes comes into mind as a potential VC/C option, considering the week it is. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys got some troops back. They've got Drinkwater, as you said. They've also got Cotter back, which he adds so much to their, I guess, they quick play the ball, go forward, which then allows their attack to flutter off that. So, yeah, I think, Val Holmes, good VC option, I guess, with it, because we've lost a few good there's no Hines. Turbo doesn't have a juicy matchup.
Roosters and Storm play
each other. So there's a few VC options that are kind of taken out a bit. So yeah, if you want to throw a bit of a
Penrith and Manly.
It feels like it's been like that a lot this year, Timmy. I think the competition has tightened up a bit, but there are limited matchups that are kind of standouts some weeks, but Val Holmes, a lot of people are selling. I get why, because you're missing out on these Marjus, these Carrazas, these Lockie Millers, with him getting 60 to 70 max. Do you see a world where he's a potential sell, or do you think Scott Drinkwater being back is only helpful for him?
Definitely helpful for him. It's just better combinations. I'm going to hold for sure. I just feel like as soon as you let go of him, he'll do what you've wanted him to do, and you've missed out on it. You've played him for 4 or 5 rounds and got average scores, and then it'll click. So yeah, I'm going to hold for sure.
We have a question here by Ange on YouTube. What's the beer choice, fellas? Timmy?
Bolter XPA.
Bolter XPA. We all know I'm a bitch and I don't drink beer. So moving on to Cody Nikarima, named at 5'8", 286,000. He is dual 5'8" and hooker. Jake, go near him.
And he burnt me to the absolute blasters last year, so I don't think so. I think the Dolphins are in a bit of trouble. They got absolutely flogged by the Dragons. Don't really have any halves in there. They've lost Sullivan. They've lost. I guess you can say Milford.
Just makes it even more awkward, obviously.
But it makes it more awkward. You've got Katoa that's probably going to have to take more of a leadership role. Kid's only, 19, 20 years old.
Named a 7, though, which is a good thing.
I guess
I
for
think
him in
so.
terms of SuperCoach, but I think the Dolphins, how we expected them to go at the start, I think that's kind of how they're going to start going.
Yeah.
Like, they're without a lot of players.
I was going to put this when we talk about most traded in and out, but Timmy, the Hammer is the most traded out this week. At this point, TLT is just
It's
dropped.
already been changed.
Yeah. Oh, has it actually? Wow. SuperCoach is a nuts, eh? So he was the most traded out up until TLT. Do you see this Cowboys matchup and how depleted they are? Do you see this as a negative for the Hammer?
I don't think the Cowboys are that. You mean the Dolphins?
Dolphins,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think he's done his job for you. I think he's done more than his job. There's a lot of us that didn't think he'd be necessarily a buy and could be more of a liability. Him and Azarko have done really, really well. I think if you've got either of them, you could probably hold on to Azarko. I just feel like with the lack of scoring that they may produce, I'd probably move on both and just go to one of those primo guns now.
I feel like after you saw Azarko in Queensland, I would have owned him and be the happiest person ever owning him. Like I just would have taken that as a sign. Own Azarko. No one talked about Azarko in the preseason though. So, I mean, he was probably a sell maybe 2 weeks ago anyway, but the fact that he's still doing it.
And coming off a ton as well.
Yeah, good on him. Other winners. Cody Nickareem was the last one. Zach Hosking named at starting, second row. But no Liam Martin or Luke Garner to be seen, Timmy, as the resident Penrith fan.
Well, that might concern some people in the community. Some people want to sort of see how, if they're named, like, is someone dropped? Is someone on the bench? What's the sort of rotation? So who knows if he's, got the spot and then next week he doesn't. Me and Savs got him after the first game. Yeah. We got him so we could play him last week. I think we're both very confident watching the first round, and even more so after watching last round. It's now his spot. I mean, Ivan Cleary's the coach, not me or Savs, but
he's not an idiot. He's not an idiot. He can see. He's seeing what we're seeing.
It's good. It's very good. And combo with Nate's great.
It's just what he does Monday to Friday. And as an older bloke, 26 years old, or might be 27 now, but I think Monday to Friday, he'd be doing just as much as Luke Garner, you would assume. Jake, what's your read on that? And I'll stem that into your mate, Lindsay Smith, named on the bench again. Minus 10 BE. I really noticed him on the weekend because I kept thinking it was Zach Hosking. He looks good.
Yeah, he had a great game. I guess he's been playing, very few minutes in the games he's played, but I guess a couple of middle forwards going down or even edge forwards and Sorensen having to go in the middle. Fish, I think's maybe like 3 to 5-ish weeks, I think. But I think the one that might cost him, I guess, minutes, obviously not this week. He's been named and he should play the exact same role he played last week. And he, does a lot of the meat and potato stuff, the runs, the tackles. Who was it? He dragged down someone and then Tungo came over and saved the try in one of it. But back to, I guess, Hosking. I don't have him, but I'm bringing him in this week. I wanted to, like you guys, I wanted to see what his role with Liam Martin back in the side was. Obviously, we don't get this, but we also get him for 80 minutes this week at a minus 50
55
break even.
Yeah.
He's probably going to make 100K this week. And then have another negative break.
He's a confident play as well. I think the reason I got him in last week, my plan was skip Jackson Ford last week, go Jackson Ford this week. And if anything happens, at least I got Hosking. Something's happened. I'm not getting Jackson Ford this week. I'll tell you that.
I don't think I am.
Yeah. But like, he did play the Sharks. I guess we'll talk about him. But I'm glad I got him in. And I think this just goes down to the eye test. We liked what we saw. I know he scored 117, but outside of that, he still looked good. Like, I would have been happy to buy him anyway, just knowing he's playing alongside Cleary and that score was going to come. And it just looks like, I remember Liam Martin when he would come off the bench and play big minutes when he wasn't starting for Penrith. He'd always score a try when he started. I think Liam Martin has kind of regressed in his whole running. And he's focused more on just being a dog, being an absolute dog. So, but don't get me wrong, it's worked for him. Yeah. But I think, I don't know what's going to happen. But Jake, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen there?
I mean, I don't know. I think Liam Martin definitely comes in. He's there.
Obviously, but like
in minutes wise, I think a lot of people always, the ones that didn't buy him last week, are always under the impression that Martin will come back, Hosking will probably go to, like Garner was, playing 50, 55 minutes, and then your mate Jam and Salmon will come on, or Garner if he's back in the side. come on and spell him. We don't really get to see that. So I think it's get him this week, and then, whatever happens next week happens next week. I think he's still got he's going to make probably 150K.
Yeah, if you wait till the week after, he's going up.
He's done. It's this week or never.
100%.
In my opinion.
Although I think he will score well enough in the season to justify the price.
Yep.
Like, kind of look at Elias Katoa. He's at 600K now. He's one of the better second rowers going around this year. I don't think I'd spend that much on him, but you could still do it and justify it. Sonny Luke, also named back from that HIA. Are you keeping an eye on him?
Oh, well, I've got him on, and I'm just sort of keeping him there until he does his thing. I'm sure he's going to get more minutes eventually. I've got Harry Grant. I only want to play him each week. So I don't know. Yeah, look, I think he'll get more minutes. Maybe not this week, but we'll eventually. So for me, he's a definite keep.
Just have a look at that comment. Moving on to Jared Croker, 279,000, named to start for the Canberra Raiders. Goal kicking. What are your thoughts on Jared Croker? I think who is out there's Tomoko.
Tomoko's there.
No,
yeah,
Tomoko's there. Harley Smith-Shields, he's
Yeah.
gone. What are your thoughts?
Oh, you don't get Croker. I know he's cheap and he's going to kick some goals, but they're not. I don't think they'll be scoring a great deal of tries at the moment, especially against Brisbane. Yeah, it's just a weird one. I don't think many people have really ever considered Jared Croker, but he's always been a bit more expensive, so that's probably why.
I think with Jared Croker, I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. I don't think he's 100% certain to stay in the side, but
What scores would you want and hope from him if you were to get him? What would you expect?
I'd be happy with 40 to 50
and not play him,
and just hope that he scores an 81 week, and then
Makes
pretty
some
much,
money.
pretty much. Just as a goal kicking who has a bit more base, I think he wants to keep his spot in that side to try and get to 300 games. But I don't think we need to speak about him too much at the moment because it's a bit of a tough one. Jaden Campbell named at fullback, 437,000. Jake, if your fullback slot wasn't so stacked and full of options that you just want to get in your side, would you consider?
I mean, if he was available, say at center wing or something, yes. But I think, AJ, I think is due back around round 8 or round 10. So it's a middle sort of injury. I don't know, Savs, if someone was to, say, lose a fullback last week, would you bring him in?
With the draw, I'd think about it. I think there are a lot of other good options that we'll kind of talk about. We do have to go through some scenarios here and there, but I would think about it.
I don't like Jay. I mean, he's lovely to watch.
Too small, isn't he?
He's
for
got,
SuperCoach.
I mean, yeah. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of small fullbacks out there still go all right. Like Reece Walsh is pretty small and he goes all right. I just don't think he's got that finesse that Reece Walsh does. He's just coming back. He's 437K. It's a bit expensive. Yeah, I get sort of like Sloaney sort of some games and then other really like ones that'll cost you.
Yeah.
Not for me.
That's it. I've got some questions here. I've got some statements here. Studio looking good, fellas, and blurry video. Guys, this isn't the Picklebet studio we've been talking about. We're not recording in that for another 2 weeks. This is just a studio in Bella Vista that we hire for free. So Hills Podcast Studio. If you want to record your own podcast here, you can go and do it. So cheers for them comments. Isaac Fasualamawi. 200K.
What? Fa'asul Malawi. I can do it now. I've been practicing.
Fa'asul Malawi. Are you going to put up some comments when we're ready, Jake?
Yep. It's just I'm trying to use Apple mouse here, and it does not like going on a Windows computer.
It doesn't. Usually, that's like a touch thing that it doesn't do it with this though, which is pretty. But Isaac, Tino's brother, Timmy, you're considering moving on him for Franklin Pele because you looped last week, right?
Yeah, I was thinking if I could get rid of Pele's and just bring Isaac in, who's not going to play last week, then that would mean I wouldn't have to worry about too much Renee because the rest of the guys look like they're going to go okay. But I would have still got Alamotti's.
8 points difference.
Yeah. For now, I mean, Pele's injured and he's out for I think about 5-6 weeks. I'm not with a fractured arm.
Yep.
It could be more. I'm not sure, but I still think I'm just going to leave Pele there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the
There's
trade.
not much happening there, is there?
That Arsul Malali fella, the younger brother, Isaac, he's doing like 40s, which is all right.
He got inflated minutes last game because of Kieran Foran and AJ Brimson's injury.
Okay, yeah.
So I think the game before that is more of a base to go off. But Jake.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the game before that's more to go off, and he played around 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You can maybe expect, 30 to 35 points. It's not really a trade you really want to be making.
It's going to be a very slow burn.
It's a slow burn. Pele, you'd rather just have someone just not playing.
Yeah. People are like, I don't want someone not making money or whatever. But if he's that much of a slow burn and you're wasting the trade, you'll really want that trade later. And talking about trades, Paul, can we talk about that later?
We will talk about that. We'll talk about our trades in particular.
Not particular trades, but I'm starting to worry, like, when am I going to save trades? Like, I'm starting to, when am I going to do it? Because the buys are coming. And once the buys come, you're going to have to start bringing them in, getting them out.
You need to go all guns blazing
now
during the buys.
So we need to start saving now. You can't do it in the back end.
I think sort of in the next couple of weeks you can maybe. I think now is when you want to be
still
making
building
money. You want to be making money. So
it's only just round 5. Round 6 is coming this week.
That's what freaks me out. That's the problem. We've got 20 bloody 2 rounds to go.
Round 7 to 9 is you've got to save at least 1, maybe 2 in that time. Because we're going to be trading so much. People are going through boosts like they're bloody chocolate bars.
I'm very head-to-head focused this year, so I'm like sort of wanting to keep mine towards the back end so I can be staunch in my finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny because Jake last week asked him what his trades were, and he goes,
I'm going to be boring, Savs. I'm only making 1.
Yeah, and what was the trade? It was like someone to Schuster.
It wasn't Schuster. It ended up being Ford. He did someone to Ford, and I was like, that's so boring. But looking back at that now, that's so exciting now, right? Like you just got to go through 1 week of boringness just to, and like to be fair, like
I've saved 1.
Yeah, so have I. Yes. All right, moving on. Greg Marju, 580K, negative 44 break even. This is a massive topic, fellas. Jake, even if he's not the keeper that everyone's kind of saying he is, which I think he kind of is, the way he's going, his base is just ridiculous.
Just comes down to the job security. It's probably there with Dom Young going. I mean, the other guys aren't that.
Well, I don't think Heim or Hunt's going to take his position, but at worst, you can make 100K, 150K and have a playable center wing and not have to play an Alamotti potentially.
Yeah, I mean, 100% he's a playable player. He's 25? He's almost like a Carraz. He has 25 runs a game. Plenty of tackle busts.
It's ridiculous. Last 2 weeks, he's been basing and base attack more than 60.
Yeah, and I guess they're using both their wingers in getting tries, so he's absolutely killing it.
I'm just looking at him. He's obviously there's a small sample size. He's only played most teams like either once, twice, or 3 times. But on his low scores, there's nothing there that's disappointing except for a 27 and a 2, which I don't know what happened. There might have been injuries to them. I'd imagine even the 27. I can't imagine him scoring 27.
Yeah, I mean, he gets
he's a beast.
Heaps of work. He's a beast. I guess job security, like we mentioned, is probably the one thing that we got to be worried about. Dom Young keeps his spot. Heimel Hunt out of the team. That was a change at the start last week, just before kickoff. He was out injured, but I think he's a bring in. He's got a low break even. If you're moving on from like me, I'm getting rid of Hammer straight to him. It's going to cost me less than 100K.
That's ridiculous.
The only thing that annoys me about him, like he's so juicy as an individual. As an individual, he's very, very juicy. Sorry, I'm gonna have to lean over here. So
sorry.
You can move your.
A bit of a compromise. So for me, he's very, very juicy as an individualist, right? But in the team he's in, that takes away some of his goodness.
Yeah,
there's going to be less, icing those tries when you're in the 20 and that sort of stuff. And for me, that's a little bit of maybe I could sort of have to look at it a bit closer, even though he is a very good option.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not concerned about his job security because I just think Newcastle don't have much, and without Ponga, they need a bit more in attack. I think they will bypass his defense, but I see people's concerns. But that base, I just love it. Jack Johns named at starting lock, negative 36 break even. at 230K with scores of 37 and 76. That 76 was with a try, and Timmy has put his hand up. Yes, student.
I'm very strong on this one. And
Yeah.
I usually don't like to get too like strong on things because then people go, "Oh, you idiot, you're wrong," and like they love it. But this is a trade I would have made in my first, second, or third year of playing SuperCoach because his surname's Johns.
Yeah.
Like I'd get really excited, but I'd be like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. He's got the blood in him." You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it's not that he's not that great. He's not as elite as some of the guys going around, but I just
Have a look at the sons at the moment of the grades. There's Billy Walters going around, not SuperCoach relevant. There's Cooper and Jack Johns, who Jack is one of the more SuperCoach relevant players. Jaden Campbell. Am I missing any? Nathan Cleary.
He's a bit relevant.
He's a little bit relevant.
oh, there'd be heaps. There's Price that played last week that
Price,
debuted.
probably not relevant. It's funny. The name, I'm not going to say the name gets them a long way, but the name probably gets them.
It does. Even in my mind still. It's still
Yeah. Like, oh, he's got a bit about him. He's got a big future. Jake, Adam Dewey named at 5'8", 525,000. Does have the bye next week, but I like the fact that he's named at 5'8", but with the Tigers and what they're going through at the moment, there's no guarantee that he doesn't end up playing second row next week or something.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The Tigers just look dreadful. They do have the bye next week, so I guess with Adam Dewey, if you plan on selling him, he has a 80, 90 break even this week. If you don't think he's going to score that well, I'd trade him this week. I'm trading him this week. I think he's probably a trade. And also depends on who your second 5'8" is, because if you have to play, say, an Isaiah Katoa next week, and if he's your backup 5'8", you're probably going to be selling Dewey anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess look at your break evens. If you want someone like Dylan Brown's probably going to drop money, although he could absolutely torch the Tigers this week. But he's got like 130 or 100 something like break even, so he could drop more than what Dewey drops. And then you, I guess, saving a bit of money, but weigh that up. If you're like, I'm going to Cody Walker this week.
There are some nice little buys like that.
A 20-something break even. So I'd rather do that this week, than next week. I do like him versing the beaten up Bulldogs.
This 5'8" thing's a big topic, I think, because there's a lot of people that have still held on to Dewey. Other people just either move to Munster, move to Brown immediately after there was the turf toe problem.
Mm-hmm.
But for me and a lot of other people that still got Dewey, like you yourself, like I'm sort of in like the camp of like, oh, geez, I probably prefer Brown just because the matchup's a lot nicer. I'm looking, when I've gone through the matchups, I'm like, okay, the next two games for the Bunnies and Para are quite good. But then the third game, it's not good. And then like the fourth game, I think it was even going to the fourth game, I'm like, oh, so.
Do you feel like that's kind of been the competition this year though? Like people have gone on a run of 2 or 3 games. There's only like 2 or 3 teams that are a good matchup anyway. Like,
but then there's those real hard ones too. Like you don't, like you got to have respect for the sort of the Panthers, I'd say the Sharkies until last week.
We're just letting 32 points.
Yeah.
Well, just think about it. Like the Sharkies
Broncos
have won a few games, but they're letting in points.
The Wars
with the Broncos, like they're the second in defense behind Penrith. Like
they're probably the only 2 teams.
Like they should be the harder matchups, not the Melbournes. Like
Melbourne are conceding points for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Souths their defense is pretty off as well.
They're not far behind. I think they're averaging like 18 points a game.
Melbourne pulled it back a little last week. It was a good performance, 18-10, and I think maybe they're just starting to. Surely Bellamy's like cracking the whip like he's never cracked it before. He's not seen his team do this poorly since he's been there.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's probably why he's still there, because he wants to challenge. Jake, I guess you've answered our question with the 5'8" dilemma. Cody Walker, why do you like him, and why? Plays the first bye.
Yes, he does. I liked him. I was weighing up Dylan Brown or Cody Walker. There's about 200 and something K in difference, so I can only really go to Cody Walker. Surely Souths are going to click soon. He scored all right the last 2 weeks, but just on the eye test, he's playing both sides of the ruck, which I do like. Usually it was Cody Walker plays left, Latrell plays right, but Cody's swinging both sides because Latrell's a bit lazy. And I don't know, I just think Souths are going to gel, and I need a bit of a pod play, and hopefully this one pays off for me.
What freaks me out about it, because I think I'm leaning more towards Cody myself, and that's more out of a forced thing
Yeah.
because Dewey's about the same price, and I just don't think I could afford Brown without doing something drastic. But yeah, I'm just worried because the last 2 games for Brown were pretty average scoring, didn't do that much. So I just feel like he knows that he's going to come out and open a can of whoop ass, man, and that really makes me nervous.
Brown scored a ton against Melbourne last year, so he does have it in him to go bigger against the better sides. I don't know if you can really bank on that though, but it is a tough one. I went Cameron Munster last week. I'm pretty happy because matchup proof, you don't need to worry too much. Yeah. I do think he does need the attacking stats to be relevant though, or to keep it up and to justify his price, but I'm quite happy with it, and I don't think I'm aiming for Brown until closer to the buys. And Cody Walker, he might get to a point where you kind of got to get him in because everyone else is just getting him in and just scoring tries. If he gets to that point, the last winner on this list, Bryce Cartwright. Jake, I want to go to you. Starting, but there is a certain person who's been named on the bench that I don't want to talk about just yet. Mm-hmm. But Madison is named at lock.
Yep.
Lane on the left. It looks like Cardi's on the right. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the big plus with this is Dury is not on the bench. There is no Jack Murchie. He's going to play middle, so I don't think he's going to come on play edge. So I think he's pretty much locked in for 80 minutes, which is a plus. I guess there were a few people selling him or are selling him. I think that might have changed when we bring a certain person on the bench.
Yeah.
Topical. He's on the bench. They've seen it. Like we're the only people that know about it.
We're going to bring a whole segment on that one.
Saz wants a big segment on it. But yeah, Cartwright, he had a bit of an off game last week. I think that's because Para had no ball and they were dominated by the Roosters. Against the Tigers, I think he's going to be able to a lot more free-flowing, open space, offloads.
So
I don't think he's necessarily a sell.
I think he's a hold this week. Yeah, and a play, especially against the Tigers. What are you doing? You need a pen?
Making a coaster.
Oh, I thought he was making a play.
Right. Yeah, right. So I think he's a play, and I think we said in the preseason podcast, whoever plays on that right, we want, because I know Dylan Brown likes to square the defense up, and Sean Lane really dominates on that. But the right side can't be underrated either.
Well, we saw what Wipap did for the last couple of years.
Exactly. And Dury still went over a few times.
I mean, running off Moses is probably better than running off Brown because Moses is going to throw the pass where Dylan Brown's more likely to run.
Yeah, that's it. He might get a bit earlier ball with the chance to get a try assist as well, pop it out the back.
And that good ball, because he always sort of he's got so much speed. He sort of makes it gets around, makes a break himself, and it seems like, it's on, and just gives it. So, I like that too, but I just don't think I could do it.
I was going to talk about it.
Things to do.
I was going to talk about it later, but let's talk about it now. No, it's not what you're talking about.
Okay.
Mitch Moses is a buy this week against the Tigers and then plays the Bulldogs next week. If you don't have Hines, I like it as a I like it as a 2-week play to get up to Hines. Moses does have a high break even, 100 or something, and he's 630K, but Hines comes back with a negative break even, which is a bit tough, and then plays the Roosters. Then he plays St. George, plays like an easier side after that. What are your thoughts on a short-term play with Mitch Moses?
Like it. As I sort of said to you on the wrap-up pod on Sunday, I just think that he does go on those run of games, and I think this would be that 2 run of games. Be, that was the bit, and then people might want to get him in later because of the buys, and then it might regress a bit for him. I think your team's starting to look pretty sexy.
Mine?
Yeah, I think the fact that in my mind, I usually know what you're going to do, and if I don't, I feel like you've already confirmed it by just the little things. You're going to be getting Latrell and Moses, who are 2 big guns that are very pottish.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay,
I really want to though. Jake, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it now.
What's that, Savs?
The best people were touting this guy as the best SuperCoach player in history since Corey Parker, since Paul Gallen. You've got some comments on the screen, do you?
There's 1,000 comments about the.
Guys, we're going to answer the questions later in the podcast, so keep pumping them through, and we'll get through them. But touted the best SuperCoach player since Paul Gallen, since Corey Parker, Jermaine Hopgoat has been named on the bench. Now, he's already the most traded out player, I assume. I haven't looked at it, but correct, you confirmed that with me.
Wow.
Where are we going? like I don't know if I want to wait on this because it's just so much sitting on the bench to just wait on, right?
Okay, so I've kind of looked at it with the bench of Parramatta. Matto did it a lot last year. He started on the bench
people
will come
still
on and
bought
play
him.
60 straight.
And he
Yeah.
killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Hopgood's going to do that this week
I
at
don't
least.
mind it.
Junior Barlow does come back next week, so that might change their rotation a bit. But Wiramu Greg, he's going to last 15 minutes to begin with. Hopgood's going to come on, I think, probably plays the rest of the game.
Imagine him coming on when people are tired
Yeah.
and he's just punching. You know what I mean? That's when I could see him getting a little
So,
bit cheeky offloads back into his
like
game.
what he sort of did with the Sharks, where he just tore up the middle. He put on 2 try assists. So, I mean, if you're going to say someone like Hosking, I can understand it. He's probably the
Hosking or Fafita are the only 2 people I'd trade him to.
Yeah, if you need to get rid of someone, I think Hopgood's probably the player to do it. He's nearly 600K, almost about to peak. Back on the bench, maybe some doubt on him. So I guess he's probably a sell. But I mean, if you don't really need, if you already have Hosking, I wouldn't be rushing to get rid of him because I think he's still he's based at beast, PPM monster. I still think he's going to score all right
Just takes one injury for him to get straight back into the fray as well.
People were buying Ryan Madison last year when he was coming off the bench because he was doing so well.
I think I'll have a look at it. I'm not going to just punch and get rid of him immediately. I'm having at least one.
I mean, it's a break even. I think 47. I think so. It's not like
so you can wait, but there's moves you can make this
He'll
week.
score more off the bench than he did last week.
I think so. I think so.
For
Yeah,
sure. Just because that was a very low score for him.
So we're all in agreement that he's a play if you keep him.
I mean, yeah, if you keep him, you're gonna play a 600K player.
Get close to the mic, mate.
I'll be keeping him. I'll be playing him.
All right, that's Jermaine Hopgood. If you are selling though, I'm still tempted.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna lie.
it's got to be someone that's like you're going to a gun or someone that's going to make a ton of money, being a Hosking or something like that. Or if you're going up to, like Tim said, a Fafita, or you think Ken Murray's turned the corner and you want to go back to him. But I wouldn't be going down to a Schuster
Ford or something weird.
I don't think I'd be doing that.
In my position, I'd be switching Schuster to 5'8" and getting in Moses.
There you go. That's what Saz might be doing.
What are your thoughts?
I don't mind it because you can do that for a little bit and then move him back into the.
I started this podcast so I could get advice on my team. You know, like
move him back into the second row in a couple of weeks once you move, or if you move Mitch, or you will move Mitch Moses on once you go to Hines. So once you do that, I think you can move Schuster back.
Yeah, anyway, another loser, James Tedesco. There's a lot of options to go to.
What are you doing, Saz?
It's either Marju or Mitchell. We already talked about them.
That was actually one of the questions. Sorry, I can't see. So I have to...
Yeah, so it was Latrell Mitchell a buy.
Yeah, so would you go Teddy to Marju instead of Walsh or Latrell, which is kind of your conundrum?
Yes.
Yeah, you should answer this because it's where you're at, I think.
Well, I don't know.
But he wants help from us.
Yeah, I want help from you guys.
Okay, sure. Okay, so Walsh, I think it's what? How many more? 2 more gun games for him? It's definitely 2 more gun games.
I've ruled him out. I've missed him.
I think the reason you've ruled him out is the same reason I've sort of put a line through. You were very keen on Walsh preseason.
Yes.
And you didn't, and because now it's kind of getting, it's a little bit of an ego. I'm not getting him now.
No, it's not an ego, but I'm going to have to sell him in 2 weeks anyway. Like, I could have still gone last week when I got Teddy in.
I like the Latrell one, man. I just like Latrell's got that massive upside, and I just think you want him.
6 tackle breaks last week, Jake, compared to his 0 the week before when he scored 32. He still didn't look like he was trying to get involved, but we know what Latrell is and still scored 67. Do you think a bit of criticism has come his way this week, playing the Bulldogs who are depleted? What are your thoughts?
I think he's in for a big game, Savs.
Yeah, I think so.
If I was in your situation, I'd be bringing him
I'm
in.
definitely prioritizing him over Moses, but at the same time, like Marju is still someone who
you don't want to maybe miss as well.
Yeah, because like he's going to make so much money as it is, and that I don't know what other people are doing. And if people have kind of followed my suit where they're chasing points and not worrying about people's break evens, I have left a bit of money on the field just chasing these points. So I do need to think about if I get in a player, are they going to make money or lose money? with a player like Latrell and Moses, they could potentially lose money again, which could put me in an awkward position
And you
later
can't-
in the season.
The thing is with those players, you're not bringing them in to make money though. You're bringing them in to get big points.
Yes.
In the hope of getting points.
If
Where Marju doesn't have the pedigree of those guys, so I mean, he's not going to be. Surely doesn't score a ton every single week, Marju.
I think he's
historically he's not going.
I think
to, but
he's
he's
good
going to
for
make a lot of
60.
money.
Yeah, he's good for
He's
gonna
60,
make a lot of
but we're getting annoyed about Val Holmes. I know Val Holmes was, 700K, but if he's just getting 60s, it's not really what you want. You do want more.
Yeah.
You want that little bit more.
Yeah.
So with Latrell, I think he can just probably do it with a bit more ease, consistency.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been quiet, like, surely, come on. Like he's,
That's
I
it.
hate the word he's due, but he is.
He's due. Jake, another loser in the team list, Jonah Pezzett. I think we knew this was coming. Jerome Hughes come back.
Yeah.
Made good money. I'd probably just, like, if you haven't got anyone urgent to go to, I'd just hold and see if he gets another go. But it's a bit of a shit go because you would have just hoped something happened for another week.
I think a lot of people went Trindle to him, and I just think that's yuck. Sorry if you've done it out there. I just think that's really yuck.
I think Tommy Sangster actually did it. Funny one.
Rob Sutherland did too.
Yeah. Jack Bostock, not named. Edric Lee coming to the side.
Finally back.
Funny. Someone asked me on Instagram, should I go? I'm thinking about getting in Tom Chester. Should I do it for points and cash grab? And I'm like, oh no, Drinky's back next week. I think Bostock has a bit more of a good run.
Line through both of them.
Chester made 100K last week.
Yeah.
And scored 77.
I just don't reckon you want
Oh,
these
for
1
last
week players to make that 100K.
Well, Chester's coming off the bench this week, so at
Yeah.
least he's got another negative break. It would have been a good play, man. Like, and he
I
was
don't like him. I don't like that. Like 1 week play on, he's off the bench.
No, I like it.
Take the field.
I like it, but not every time.
I don't like it ever.
Well, you won SuperCoach, so
I'm not the authority. I just don't like it. Yeah.
all right, and that's it for the winners and losers. We're going to move to the traded in and traded out. We've pretty much talked a lot about them, but a lot of people are trading in Nathan Cleary. Do you think it's the week to do it if you don't have him?
Every week's the week to bring him in.
Yeah, should have had him. But I guess I hope it's not these people that went Cleary to Hines last week and now
Hines
back
to
to Cleary
Cleary
this week. I pray you're not one of those people.
There will be people that are just playing in their work comps that aren't really thinking about it too much. There'll be plenty of people doing that, but the serious sort of super coaches shouldn't
No.
be doing that.
Yeah, shouldn't be playing halfback rule.
You need to get Cleary in, but you need to get them both in.
We've talked about everyone else. I think Reece Walsh, we didn't touch on too much, but then Payne Haas at number 6.
Top front rower. He's going to be.
Would you be getting him in now, though?
It depends who you've got there. If you've got maybe like someone like you want to go up from Christian Welsh or Uta Kamanu and you want to just pay up for it because you can see that you're a bit over the 40s, 50s. You want to get that sort of more likely 65 to, we're putting out almost 100 sometimes, but I think it's more 65 to 80 consistently most weeks. I could do that, but I definitely wouldn't be getting sick of Tarpany and going, oh, well, he hasn't really performed yet. Wait, he'll do it. Tino, he's been a little bit like sort of low, high. I think you just got to play the Tino out. If you got Tino, those 3 guys, you sit there.
Yeah, if you've like yourself, if you've gone a Tino or a Tarpany, I think you keep them. You don't go sideways to a Haas. I think surely the Raiders use Tarpany more. He's one of their most damaging players. I'm actually looking at Tarpany. Was it round 9? I think that Melbourne have the bye to go Welch Tarpany, then Tarpany covers that round 13 bye. So that's
I'll be doing that too. Thank you.
I'll be looking at that one for sure.
I don't forward plan. I play week to week.
Yeah.
So I would have identified it by the time it come up.
But I kind of look at these things and I'm like, okay, I don't really want to play around with this player because I'm going to be probably getting rid of him later on. I don't really want to get rid of him now because other things have popped up. So, but yeah, I think Haas, if like you said, if you've got a plotter that's plodding along and you want to just lock a front rower in and be done, then Haas is the perfect guy. 45% own, I think now he's at.
He's playing like out of his skin at the moment too. I'm a little bit I've been a bit staunch on it because I don't have him, and it's not because I'm salty or whatever. I actually like Tino better, but yeah, I just feel I am concerned about the minutes for him. It's just because Brisbane are killing it. They're 5-0. They showed on the weekend when they're up, they'll just pull him off and play him for minimal minutes. And if he doesn't get that big attacking play, like a try from dummy half, or the other week where he came on in the back 10 minutes and won the game for them, were just doing 2 line breaks, sort of offload, try assists. I mean, that's out of his skin, and I just don't know that that's there too often. But great player, always going to get you at least 60. Unless they play him for 40 and he only gets 40, because Broncos don't care how much SuperCoach points he cares.
No.
Yeah, it's weird how he came back on. Like, they're playing the Tigers. I think just him as a person just wants to come back on and play footy. He's playing great at the moment. Is now the right time to get him? I think you're right. Just going another person like Tino. Just go left when everyone goes right. But
as we said, if you do have a Walsh or a
Yeah.
Comano and you like him, get him.
That's it.
It doesn't matter. I really think that Tarpany, Payne Haas, and Tino on par. There'll be 5 points separating them at the end of the year on average.
Yeah, agree. We're going to move on to another quick segment that we're going to be doing while we're in the Pickle Bet studio. So we get little grabs here and there for the socials. So
We're going to get TikTok famous, are we?
Yeah, pretty much. Jake, so we're going to start with, this game is start, move, bench, cut. So you can start with someone, and then move another player into another position in the side. You've got to bench the third player and cut the fourth player. And most of the time, these players will be pretty good players. So, Jake.
Yes.
Nathan Cleary, Joey Johns, Jonathan Thurston, and Nico Hines. Start, move, bench, cut.
This is for rugby league too, and not for
an
SuperCoach.
NRL standpoint, not SuperCoach.
And in their prime, not playing today.
Yes. So I think the start, Joey Johns. I think he's a top halfback. Definitely of our generation that we've been around to see. So I think he's definitely a start.
Good party boy too, for the boys.
Yeah, good.
Bro,
Good off the field.
This is his time to shine. Come on.
This is my segment. You can do your comments later. I think in terms of move, I did ask you before, could I move a halfback to 5'8"? And you said yes. So I think Thurston straight to 5'8". I think just his competitiveness, his ability to win big games, trumps over the last two are kind of young. So I'll put him straight to 5'8". Bench, I'd choose Nathan Cleary. Just because Nico Hines, I mean, he's a bit of he's only had, 2-3 good years at say halfback.
I disagree.
Cleary's won 2 premierships. I'll fix it up. Cleary's won 2 premierships. And he's just more of a leader. And I think at halfback, he's going to be I think a future Hall of Immortal or whatever they call him. Over Hines. So
love what you did there. If I can have my turn on his turn now, is that okay?
Oh no, he needs to sort out the laptop. But what do you love?
Well, what I would do in his case, as much as I'm a Penrith boy and Cleary's my boy, I love him, man. Well, what's going on with the squeaks?
Yeah, kick on.
Okay, so I would actually have ditched Cleary altogether and had Hines on the bench, because Hines can play more positions. You know what I mean? You could have him play fullback. You can have him play halfback.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I would have done that too. So Timmy, Munster, Lockyer, Freddie, and Benji. Start, move, cut, bench.
Okay, start Freddie. I'd start him in 5'8". I'd have move Lockyer to fullback, and I would have Munster on the bench. I feel like he can come on and play fullback. He can play 5'8", and Benji, see you later. He had one good year. He's still a good player, but he's a great player.
2005 Tiger players just resting on their morals. All right, can you ask me my ones?
Yes, Brendan Savage. Okay, you've got start, move, bench, cut. Turbo, Tommy Turbo, Tedesco, Slater, and Jared Hayne. If you can,
I would start with Slater Tedesco. I would start with Slater at fullback. I think he's probably the greatest of all time at the moment. Tedesco's very close. I would play Tommy Turbo out of position at centre, because I think these other two, Jared Hayne can play in another position, but I don't think he's as effective in centre as Tommy Turbo is. I would bench Jared Hayne. I think Jared Hayne, he's just a bit more versatile than Teddy, and I'll cut Teddy.
Yeah, I can get it. Well, it's tough to cut, who we consider to be the best fullback. Well, Rugby League considers him to be the best Rugby League fullback currently, but for the rotation, I like what you've done there.
Yeah, I think it's so hard to miss out on Teddy, and it sounds ridiculous, but I think Teddy's the guy who's the least fertile.
It's fertile. Is he?
Jeez. Did you find a PowerPoint there?
Versatile.
All right, guys, we're just going to have to do a quick break in the show just to sort this out. So it's going to go to a waiting screen. So just bear with us, guys.
Make a tea and coffee, do a wee.
Then we'll answer some questions. So get your questions through and, put that overlay on, Jake. Overlay. Oh, it's up.
That was a quick
All
lead for
right,
everyone.
technical